by talking about your family a little bit. You are the fourth and youngest child of Halmar. Do you think being the youngest child greatly impacted you?
Yes, I do. It made me exert myself confidently and compete with my older siblings. It actually made me, I had to try harder to be more accepted in the family.
Your father was the Prime Minister of Sweden, a member of the Haga Tribunal, Governor of Uppland, and Chairman of the Board of the Nobel Foundation. Did he ever have any expectations of you that you felt were too great?
You would think so, but my father was actually a really nice man. He always supported me, and no matter what I did, he was always with me, and he always gave me confidence in everything I did.
That's good. Along with your eldest brother, Bo, you, who has been Undersecretary in the Ministry of Social Welfare, you both drafted the legislation which opened the way to the creation of the present so-called welfare state. Do you and your brother have similar ideas and plans for the new legislation?
Yes, we do, actually. Being brothers, we always seem to know what the other one thinks, and usually this is an advantage. I mean, sometimes it can be a disadvantage, and we argue and fight with each other because we assume things about the other, because we know each other so well, but we usually collaborate our plans well.
So you are capable of understanding the poetry of the German Hermann Hesse and of the American Emily Dickinson. How much schooling did that take, or did it just come naturally to you?
Well, I mean, of course you need some schooling to understand this kind of literature, but a lot of it did come from intelligence. I mean, I'm not bragging or anything, but it takes a lot of intelligence to understand this kind of work. But schooling does play a part, and you need to study hard always.
Let's see. When did your connection with the Swedish ministry begin?
I became the Deputy of Foreign Ministry in 1949, and I remained independent from any political party. I wanted to remain impartial because I could not show favoritism, or people would not respect me as much.
So in 1954 to 55, you personally negotiated the release of American soldiers from the Chinese government that were captured during the Korean War. After that great victory, what was one of your successes to fulfill your duty at your position?
Actually, I commissioned a UN emergency force, and this was the first one in history.
You have established yourself as an influential financial negotiator. What do you attribute to this?
Well, post-war, I took part in discussing with Great Britain on the reconstruction of Europe. This kicked off a new level to my career, and I later ended up doing things like reshaping the 12-year-old United States and Swedish trade agreement, participating in the talks organizing the Marshall Plan, and led the executive committee of the Organization for European Economic Cooperation.
So you mentioned something earlier about the UN. What is your affiliation with them?
I was a Swedish delegate in 1949 and again from 1951 to 1953. I actually received 57 out of 60 votes for this position. My next position was Secretary General of the United Nations, where I closely regulated a secretariat of 4,000 people and defined their responsibilities to the international organization they belong to.
So in your work with foreign affairs, did you have any diplomatic feats?
In fact, I avoided a Swedish commitment to the cooperative military venture of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, while collaborating on politics in the Council of Europe and economics in the Organization of European Economic Cooperation.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.